I don't know, maybe it's a trend on Friday nights. We need to laugh a little bit. I think Bob will help us do that tonight.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
So, Lexi, what did we do last Friday? It wasn't. But before Friday, Ace Aceto was here 2 Fridays ago. You don't mind if I talk to my producer when we start the show, do you? By the time let me tell you something. I do 10 shows a week. By the time we get to the 10th, it is loosey-goosey. So there are no rules around here. And then we're having, next Friday is Charlie Hall. Charlie Hall's coming in. Yep. Well, he's not very funny, so I don't know why we're having him in here. I like to antagonize Charlie. Anyway, welcome in. How are you? It's Friday night. And for those of you who are loyal and regular listeners or viewers, which medium am I on? It's television. You know that we record Friday shows on Thursday, so we, with the rundown, with the news commentary, and talk to interesting people. And I am lucky, and you are lucky, to meet the author of this book. He is a Rhode Island native, and I actually didn't get this until just before the show. I don't know what was the matter with me, but I didn't understand the concept of the Warmup guy. I thought you might be the first guy in the stand-up line. No, you are the guy, Bob. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dan.
Honor and a pleasure to have you. You are the guy that got people ready to be the studio audience that they needed to be for some really big shows.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Well, yeah, it is. It is unbelievable.
Okay, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, it's good to be here. Thank you. Remember, Amazon.com.
There you go. Let's start selling right away.
Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. This radio thing is so cool.
Yeah, it is. Radio is amazing.
Where are cameras here?
The Warmup guy just wrote the book.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well,
anytime anybody finishes a book, it's congratulations, because it's a labor of love, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You hope it's a labor of a couple of bucks, for heaven's sake. You know, Amazon.com, please.
Books don't make money anymore. It is a labor of love.
Jay Leno, Gary Marshall, Jason Alexander are on the cover saying, hey, it's a really good book. Where do we start with you? Life story in 20 minutes here on this broadcast. You're on. Go.
Rhode Island native. URI, master's degree at URI. When I left URI, I taught at Johnson & Wales.
Master's degree in?
Business.
Okay. Makes no sense for I don't know how many business degrees end up as the Warmup guy, but
then went to Boston, taught at Chamberlain Junior College, and from there the natural progression, of course, is to become a cruise director in the Caribbean, and then of course from there one automatically goes to Los Angeles and becomes a tour guide on buses up and down the coast of California, then starts to play paddle tennis and gets asked if they want to be a writer on the #1 show on TV. And basically, that happens to everybody.
Sure. Well, since you've had such a traditional path, why don't you explain to everybody how it gets done?
That was the tough part. Anytime, and myself included, when you see a TV show, you automatically think, oh, that was good. It's 30 minutes, and they come out, they do the show, they leave. Little did I know that I was going to be the guy that came out before the show and said, hey, welcome, because nobody else on that crew would come and talk to the people because it wasn't their job. The cameraman, the crew, the makeup girl, they're not going to come out and talk. They hire someone like me to come out and say, hey, welcome to LA, everybody. This is a great show. You're going to love it. And in their minds, they're going, well, when we see it at home, it's a half hour. So if it takes longer than that, maybe they make a few mistakes, it'll take a little longer. So give yourself another 15 minutes. So now they're ready to stay for 45 minutes. And I'm the only one that's talking to them. Cut to 4 hours later, 5 hours later, it's still me talking to them. And they're going, we used to like you. We don't like you anymore. You're keeping us here. We're prisoners. We're not audience members anymore. It'll be over soon. 6 hours later, so people's conception of how a TV show works is quite different than what really happens.
Well, I can promise you, this half-hour show, it's
It'll
a half hour.
There's no question.
We're out of here. I got things to do. But this is fascinating to me. So you would, well, you know what? Let's go backwards on your life story in the next couple of segments. Tell me about, you have everybody kind of mesmerized already on the concept. You worked on shows like Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days. How many shows did you warm up for?
I stopped counting at 150 different shows, thousands of warm-ups. So, because when I say,
Are you serious?
show,
150
yeah.
different
shows,
defined sitcoms, or meaning?
not so mostly sitcoms, but then there was the unusual ones, the bloopers and practical jokers, Hollywood Squares, the Gary Shandling shows, both of them, which weren't traditional sitcoms.
Just lost him.
Yeah, oh, that was a tragedy. He was funny. Sad shows that I had to be funny on. Gabrielle Kateris, do you remember? She was on 90210. She was one of the kids who just happened to be 32 at the time. She was the little one with glasses on, little older than the other cast.
I missed that one.
But she would do shows about people dying, and I had to warm up the audience.
Oh my
go,
God.
Hey, happy to be here. Go, well, we would be if we weren't dying. Yeah. So it ran the gamut, and then 15 years on The Tonight Show with Jay.
Every night.
5 nights a week, usually 45 to 50 weeks a year for 15 years.
What a gig.
The best ever. It was 10 minutes a day for 15 years.
Material.
Yeah, yeah. As opposed to Friends. Now, we talked earlier about usually sitcoms take 4 to 5 hours. That was 8 hours.
For one episode?
One episode.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and people, because it was such a hot show at the time, people go, oh, we got tickets for Friends. This is going to be so great. Not so great. 6 hours in
I'm blown away by this. So you're telling me that an average stint for a sitcom recording and production is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours?
3 to 5 hours normally.
And does the audience know that in advance? Is it on the ticket, or do they get a flyer or a warning signal or something? You're the one that lays it on them, right?
Who would go? And I don't tell them. When they sit down, I don't say, well, we're here. I go, this is going to be fun. Oh, I don't know what happened. They had a camera problem. Oh, we're here. And they go, we're hungry. I go, hungry is a state of mind. It's not really in your, you try to make light of it because you don't want them turning on you. Otherwise, it's over to begin with. So 6 hours in, they go, Bob, I go, yes, we hate you. I go, no, you don't hate me. This is fun. Look, you'll be able to tell your kids about this. Yeah, tell them how bad it was.
You know, this is, you live long enough, you admit that you don't know anything about anything. This is fascinating. I did not know. So I can't wait to read the book, seriously, because I just got it. But I can't wait to read it because all this is in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, let me see if I get this right. So my wife and I get tickets back in the old days, or maybe my parents did, to see the Happy Days. We go in there, they go in there expecting, they'll knock this thing off. And it's cut, check, like sets, redo that scene, blah, 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 da-da-da, oh, let's take a break. All that, it's stutter step the entire way, and you've got to keep the studio audience that has to laugh at the bits happy.
The live studio audience. So this was filmed before a live studio.
Did they feed them?
I lobbied for that. They weren't going to. I go, what are you doing? You got to feed them. These people have been here forever. They're hungry. They're thirsty. It's hot outside. And I had to make nice. Otherwise, 3 hours in, 4 hours in, they're not laughing. Who laughs after 3 hours? And the producers, now I'm up on a riser talking to the audience, and the producers and the director, they're all down there. And when they see they're not laughing, I go, Bob, what's going on? You're not doing your job. I go, yeah, it must be the lighting or the sound. But who is going to laugh at the same joke 5 times in a row? Okay, let's do it again. Da-da-da-da. They're not laughing after of course they're not laughing.
What was the interaction? So the number of shows, really 150 different shows. So you did Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friends is something that is a little bit more contemporary, and people still see it on reruns, and everybody loves Jennifer Aniston and that whole crowd. And were they interactive with the audience as well?
No. And that galled me to no end. And that was one of the few shows that didn't, where the cast would not come out. I go, what's wrong with them? These are their fans.
But they're 15, 20 feet away from them, correct? I mean, 50 to 40 feet. How big?
Might as well be a mile, because they would not pass that threshold. And the only one that did, and this is awful, but it's a fact, in the years that I did that, it's funny, Matt LeBlanc, David Shrimp, they wouldn't come out. These are actors. They know if you make friends with this group of people, they're going to laugh harder. But they didn't come out. So I'm out there alone, usually like on Coach. Craig T. Nelson would come out, talk to the people. Newhart, he would come out and do 10 minutes, and now he's their friend. The only one that came out was Matthew Perry. I go, wow, good for him, he's coming out. And it wasn't until like 2 months ago that I found out that he was drinking heavily during those 2 years ago. He's not friendly, he was
When
drunk.
you say coming out, meaning just stepping past the lights and walking, 10, 15, 20 feet. I mean, coming out. I mean, just.
You would think. When you.
So if it's cut, hold on, that didn't work. All right, Jennifer, Matt, let's do that scene again. They don't ever turn to the audience and say, sorry, guys, that was unbelievable. We'll get this thing.
This much, maybe. They would go behind. They would talk to each other. My line with that is friends. They're not your friends. They're friends with each other. They're friends with other stuff. But this was the anomaly, though, because most shows that I worked on, and it's extensive, they would come out. Friends was the exception, and it never ceased to amaze me. They ended up making $1 million a week a piece at the very end.
Right.
They had that favored nations clause where if one got that much money, they all did. But not to come out, it was a crime as far as I was concerned.
How did you get along with them?
I didn't have that much interaction with them.
Yeah.
One of the very few
They
shows.
knew who you were. You were there every night.
Yeah, yeah. But like
It's
I
like,
said,
hey, Bob, thanks for keeping the audience together for us. None.
none. And that was the unusual one. I mean, when I wouldn't have stayed there that long.
So how long did you work on that show?
That was the first 4 years. I was there from the pilot, and then the pilot is the first episode ever, and the audience really doesn't know who these players are. No one knew who Matthew Perry or any of them were.
Right.
And what I saw that first night was, this is a hit. Same thing, I worked on the pilot of Cheers, not Taxi, I got there later, but right away, there's something special going on.
And you opened or warmed up for Cheers?
Yeah.
What an incredible television
Wasn't
show.
that fun?
It was Americana.
Yeah.
I never missed it. Never missed it.
I loved it. It was fun.
It was as much fun behind the scenes as it was to see it.
Yeah, they would come out. They would come out. Most shows would. I know we picked on Friends right away.
But I think my takeaway from this is that, and I think a lot of you are probably taken away as well, I had no idea that the production of a sitcom like that was such a lengthy process for the audience.
Oh, that's why they hire guys like me. And I'm not coming from a stand-up background when I say a stand-up comic, because whenever they hired stand-up comedians to do the warm-up, it was inevitably a bad thing, because they would go through the material.
You know what? Hold your thought, because we got a break. I'm intrigued by that, because you're a really easy guy to hang out with, but you're not bum on stick. I bet you a stand-up comedian wears on people, right? We'll talk about that. Fascinating. 5 hours?
Your host, Jay Leno.
The trouble is not in your television. Don't worry about it. Jay is still retired. Bob Perlow is my guest. He warmed up for Jay for 15 years straight. He's a local guy in Narragansett. This is one of the most fascinating conversations I've had in a long time. I'm never going to get over the idea that a sitcom takes 5 hours to produce. The idea that you were hired, what a great story, but let's get to the quality of person that has to do that. If you're doing shtick all the time, that's going to wear people out too, right? So, so you're a warm, hosty guy in addition to a funny guy.
Yeah, you had to be. Like we touched on a little earlier, stand-up comics usually have a set, and they used to go into comedy clubs and going through their 35, maybe an hour. Guys like Seinfeld had a lot of material.
And then they're miserable.
Oh yeah, there's that dark side.
Right.
I don't have that. I got a good side. That's real fun to me. This is not a goal that I had in life. I didn't even know it existed. Yeah, on career day, the warm-up booth. Let's see what that's about.
So everyone wants to know, give me the short answer. How did you end up being this? How did you end up doing this?
I was playing paddle tennis one day in Venice, California with a friend, and I told him, yeah, I'm getting sick of LA. I'm a tour guide, which we didn't touch on. I was taking busloads of people up and down the coast of California. It's kind of a dead end. I had my master's degree. It's time to do something else. And I was offered a job. And
you're a single guy. You just
yeah,
doing your thing.
I was very single.
Very single. We got some stories on that too.
Yeah,
but
maybe
anyway.
for a later night show. And I was offered from another friend who was living in St. Martin, a ownership in a bar. And I told my friend that I was playing paddle tennis with, hey, I may be moving to St. Martin. He goes, whoa, not yet. I go, what? He goes, well, can you wait a week or two? I go, yeah, I could wait much more than that, but yeah, I'll wait. 2 weeks later, he was promoted to producer of Laverne and Shirley. He called me up, he goes, you want to be a writer? I go, I never wrote before. I mean, I did papers and such, but I go, yeah. He goes, okay, I was just promoted to head producer of Laverne and Shirley, and I'd like to hire you as a writer. The #1 show on TV. I go, great. That was Wednesday. Friday, drive up to Paramount Studios. I go, hello, Jimmy. Hey, Mr. Perlow. I look this way. And that was the start of it. But I was a writer, and then one night.
How many writers on the show?
15.
Okay.
Takes-
Did your stuff get in right away?
No. Oh, no. It takes a while. It's
Okay.
They're not too quick to let people in on this
Sure,
gig. So,
right.
one night, the studio was dark. Gary Marshall, Penny Marshall's brother, who's the creator and producer of Laverne and Shirley, and he has this. I don't know if you've ever heard him speak. He has a very clipped Brooklyn accent, and it gets to the point. Bob, the audience, dead. Go talk. Be funny. Part of the curtain. It was dark. The drum roll. Hey, how you? And that was the start. For the next 35 years, I never stopped. It was that.
Did
odd.
every show, you did successive shows, did shows have a warm-up guy by its, were you the only warm-up guy in the industry?
Pretty much. I started it. What went on? There was always somebody doing that, but most sitcoms, they would just tell one of the writers, "Oh, hey, Bill, go talk to the audience." And these guys, for the most part, are introverts, writers of sitcoms. They had that
Right.
same mentality of a stand-up comic, and they didn't want to do it, and they would give them $50 to go, just to keep them busy, not to do an act or anything like that. And I looked at it, I go, wow, this is fun. This is more fun than writing.
Did you hit it off with them right away that first night?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was,
Well, you must have, because they wanted you to keep doing it.
yeah, that was the beginning, and
And
there
then
was-
you came back the next night and said, let's do it again?
not the next night, it's once a week.
Okay.
They shoot only on Friday nights.
All right, because these are weekly sitcoms.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But everyone else had their own guy they were giving $50 to. I go, I would like to keep doing this. And once the show was canceled, Laverne and Shirley, I wasn't a good enough writer yet to keep on writing. I said, well, I want to stay in show business. I don't want to leave LA. I had an idea, excuse me. I went to another show. It was called Good Time Girls at the time. It disappeared, but it doesn't matter what the show was. And I went to the producer, I go, I know that you hire one of you guys for $50 to do this. Let me do it, and let me show you that there's a difference. Well, we have our guy, and they said, how much? I go, $300. I go, whoa, well, we can afford that. I go, okay, but I'll still do it. Well, we can't afford it. I go, I'll do it for free. I go, what? I go, I'll do it for free.
You're freaking loss leader. If it works, they'll hire you.
Yeah. So I made sure I came in with music. I came in with bits, everything. And most importantly, I made sure the audience stood up to give a standing ovation right at the beginning. And more importantly, to the producers, I go, ladies and gentlemen, these actors are terrific, but these words have to come from somewhere else. And these people, and I made them play this like classical music. I go, ladies and gentlemen, with a deep voice, and they went crazy. So it was worth it for the producers for $300 to hear their names, because before that they would go, producers, what?
All right, well, listen, we got to pause. When we come back, we'll find out whether this was lucrative. My guess is it might have been. Stay with us. Worked on that show too. Bob Perlow, Rhode Island guy, URI grad, went to LA, became the warm-up guy. If you've missed any of this conversation so far, you got to check it online at foxprovidence.com because it's just so fascinating. Don't need to know the number, but it was lucrative. After you got your first $300 from these guys, it became something of, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby. You know,
And
warming up the audience for Jay. I'm sure Jay wanted a warmed up audience, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you did very well.
I did well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
No, seriously, that's awesome stuff. What was it like working with Leno?
It was great. We have a history that is in the book. We started in Boston together in 1967. We both answered an ad that said, I'm starting an improv group and we need people. I didn't know him at the time, answered it. I answered it, and that was 1967, and we've been friends ever since.
Is he an unhappy guy now that he's out of the deal?
He's always been a happy guy. He's the exception to the stand-up rule.
Really?
He doesn't have that dark. He's from Amherst,
Right.
and just was always into cars. Even back then, we would go up and down Commonwealth Avenue. He worked for the Rolls-Royce dealership, and one night they gave him the Rolls-Royce bus, a Mercedes bus, and we would just go up and down Commonwealth Avenue, saying, well, "We're here, girls." At that time, girls hitchhiked. They go, "This is the city of Boston says we can pick you up."
What are you doing now?
Now, I finished the book, I'm doing that, and I have a one-man show, pretty much like what we're doing, where the audience is given a list of the 150 shows. I go, what do you want to know? I'm not going back. I'll tell you anything. Everything's on the table, and it's all first person.
And you got a show coming up, right? Do we have information on that? Online at foxprovidence.com, where you can... and you can also see some extra video, right, Lex? We've got some extra video of the time that you crashed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we're singing with Carole King. I mean, you just jumped on the stage all by yourself? Or
This was pre-9/11. The show of the induction was over, and they have a jam session at the end. I go, I'll never have, this was not for any show or any cameras or anything. I go, I'll never have this chance again. I'm doing it. Walked up on stage. There was a tambourine. I grabbed it. Next thing I know, it's Carole King, James Taylor, and me doing a song. And then I see Bill. Remember Bill Graham, the promoter? Mm-hmm. He did the Fillmore. He did all this stuff in the '60s. He came over. He looked. Just keeps on moving. I went away. Said hello to Bruce Springsteen, Diana Ross, Simon and Garfunkel. They were all there. Came back out and started singing with Carole King, the two of us. Then went around again and ended up with The Who. They go, the guy with The Who.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
When's the next show? I mean, when's the show coming up?
It's in June at the Narragansett Theater in Narragansett, June 8th, I believe.
Oh, well, you know what? You got to come on the radio before that, and
Yeah.
we'll set it up, because I got more questions, just like everyone who shows up to see you will probably.
Don't do what Gene Valesenti does. Whenever he calls, I go, who died? Bob, the Gary Shanley, every time.
Right. No, we'll just make a fixed appointment. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Good luck with the book.
Thank
you. The
you.
Warm-Up Guy, a must-read. Final word when we come back. Stay with us. Still struck over 5.5 hours for a sitcom. Anyway, what a great conversation. Make sure you see Bob's show in June. Check foxprovidence.com for all the details. You have a great weekend. Billy Gilman on the program Monday.